Hi, I'm Chung Chow. Today I'm serving up a taste of Hawaii. Today I'm making Kalua pork with Cavatelli. It's going to be a crowd pleaser and everyone's going to love it. It's rich, fatty, and it's got a lot of flavor. So Kalua pig in Hawaii is a very traditional pork roast, so to speak, and it's usually done in an imu, which is a pit that is dug into the ground and lined with hot rocks. Pig is usually placed on top and it's covered with banana leaves and a lot of rocks to kind of cook nice and slow. But because, who really cooks a whole pig at home anymore, right? Who does? I'm using banana leaves here for the pork. It gives a nice earthy flavor that you would normally get if you were to do a more traditional Kalua pig in Hawaii. So today we're gonna use a piece of pork butt. Right on top of this banana leaf, we're gonna place this pork right on top. So I'm using pork butt here because it has a lot of flavor, nice fat to lean meat ratio, has a lot of connective tissue, something that's very, very conducive to slow cooking. So I'm using liquid smoke because traditionally when you do a Kalua pig in Hawaii, cooking in the pit and cooking in the hot rocks gives a little bit of smoky flavor to it. So we're gonna try and replicate that a little bit here. We're gonna add a little bit of a Hawaiian red sea salt. We call it Alaea salt. Just more kind of like a mineral texture, a little bit of nutrient in it. We're adding a little water here just so that the pork doesn't dry up too much. So we're gonna wrap this up. By doing this, we're just trying to replicate the whole traditional Kalua pig where you just wrap a whole pig with some leaves. All right, the pork's been in the oven for about 5 hours so far. I'm gonna take a look. And it smells amazing right now. The earthiness of the leaves. Just gonna shred it a little bit just to break the pork apart. Don't worry so much about the fat layer on top. Incorporate that into the whole pork so that you have all that flavor. You see all the juices. Just work that all right into the pork. And then I'm just gonna take a little bit of this pork. All right, I think we have what we need for our pasta dish. I'm making this dish today with Cavatelli and the Kalua pig because it represents some of the things that I grew up with, some of the foods and the flavor combinations that I grew up with, which is a nice representation of the big melting pot of what Hawaii is comprised of. If you don't have Cavatelli, you can always use different pasta shapes, even elbow macaroni. So anything that you can find around the house, I just use Cavatelli because I think the shape is pretty interesting. In Hawaii, we have something we call plate lunches. They always had protein, macaroni salad, sometimes poke, kimchi. So there's so much great combinations of different cultures on one plate and at one time, from Japan to China to the Philippines. So, that's the beauty of doing what we do, cooking with flavors from all over the world. We're gonna add some grated Parmesan cheese. Add as you need to. You can always add more if you like a lot of cheese. We're gonna stir this right in. Okay, so while this is cooking, I'm gonna cook up some Chinese broccoli. We're using Chinese broccoli here because this is one of the ingredients that you'll find very often and easily in Hawaii. It looks amazing. The color is beautiful. Kalua pork reminds me of home, almost like eating a plate lunch, but in a different setting. It's gonna remind you of like a great pulled pork sandwich. It's very flavorful. If you have never tried Hawaiian food, by all means, give this dish a try. And maybe one day you'll get a trip to Hawaii and you can try it for yourself.